on the tree? 5 on the tree. 5 said they're going to fly away. How many are left on the tree? Why? Because they said. They only said, and in most cases, everybody has good intentions. By the end of the day, when it comes to the price that needs to be paid, what am I saying? You need to be very tough. You can't be a sissy. You can't be a lady when it comes to life. You can't be a lady when it comes to life. Reserve your ladiness or whatever it is somewhere else. But when it comes to life, life does not know if you're male or female. Life requires certain laws and certain things. If you're able to give it, you will succeed. So success is up to you. It's not up to the economy of any nation. Some of the poorest countries in this world have wealthy people in developed countries called wealthy. In this our country. Do you know how many billionaires exist in this country? Do you know how money is flying all over the place in this country? Alright? So we say someday I'll read that book. Someday I'll start the exercise plan. Someday I'll start that business. Someday I'll upgrade my skills. Someday I'll get my finances under control. Someday I'll do the things that I need to do to achieve all my goals. Someday. And someday never comes. Probably 80% of the population lives on Sunday Island most of the time. They think and dream and fantasize. Have you seen all these roadside guys? Newspaper association. They know the problems of Nigeria. They know the solution, but they can't solve their own problems. They can't even afford to buy a newspaper. So those kind of things, when I hammer, when I make it, okay, so what's the bridge from here to there? Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to pay the price? All right? So choose to be a winner. Losers make excuses, winners make progress. Resist the urge to make excuses. Learn to take responsibility. Why did you come late? Don't say because there was traffic. Resist the urge to make excuses. Always remember, losers make excuses. And because I'm not a loser, I refuse to make excuses. Why did you come late? Oh, they were lying on the road. Oh, it rained cats and dogs, like literally cats and dogs in my area. But are there people that got there early? Do you understand? Are there people that overcame those excuses? Excuses are made. We make them. They may be valid, but they're still excuses. So even though they're valid, resist the urge to make excuses. Take responsibility. Let me give you an example. If I come late and I say, oh, they ask me, why did you come late? And I say, oh, you know, I had a lot of issues on the road. My car broke down. This happened. Goats and cats were fighting. We couldn't move and all of that. You know what I'm saying? What I'm actually doing is this, which is very harmful. I'm saying it's not my fault. And as long as you say it's not your fault, you're not going to do it better the next time. Your mind will shut down to say, since it's not your fault, you don't have to think of a solution. So, but what if I say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't manage my time properly. You know what I'm taking responsibility. So I'm saying it's my fault for coming late. After all, there were people, if I had left earlier, if I had planned better, if I had put into consideration that there may be traffic, there may be cats and goats fighting, there may be this, then I should have left earlier. But you know what that's going to do? My creative mind is going to get to work. I'm saying this because, you see, when you're used to making excuses, when it comes to business, you do the same thing, and you don't know why you're not moving forward. But when I say, you know what, I'm sorry, I take responsibility, I will do better tomorrow. What I'm saying, my creative mind will set to work that, okay, girl, you need to do this, 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 so that I don't do it again. But as long as you keep making excuses, someone said, how does that reflect or relate to your business? Oh, it's COVID. There's COVID. So there's no real market. There's no real business going on out there. Oh, I'm not feeling well, so I can't do it. Do you understand? And once you make excuses for your business, this season, it's a March, and in March my kind of business does not move. That's an excuse. And you know what? Once you say that, your creativity will never get to work to solve it. But once you say, you know what? I'm not doing something right. That's taking responsibility. I'm not getting something right. What do I need to do? What must I do? Do you understand? So, always remember, losers make excuses, winners make progress. You can't make excuses and make progress at the same time. Just as you can't be powerful and pitiful at the same time. Alright? So now, how can you tell if your favorite excuse is valid or not? Number one, or just look at it. Look around and ask, is there anyone else who has my same excuse but is successful? Who has my same reason but is successful? Are there people that didn't go to school and yet they're successful? Are there people that didn't do masters and they're successful? Are there people that didn't whatever the situation is? Reason versus excuse. Everyone has a reason not to succeed. But when reason matures without it being overcome, it grows into excuses. And that limits and stops you in life. One quality that's consistent with all successful people is self-discipline. Discipline is what makes you resist the lure and the attraction of excuses. Alright? It's self-discipline that enables you to vote yourself off someday island. Is the key to a great life, and without it, no lasting success is possible. Come on, lift up your right hand and say, I vote myself off someday island today.
I vote myself off someday island.
That's why goal setting is also important. Goal setting helps you take ownership of your life. There's a way you can still say, one day I'll make it. One day I'll make it. But how am I going to make it? When do I want to hit this thing? When do I want to get it done? When you have a goal, it kind of releases your creativity. It kind of makes you get up. It kind of makes you, when everybody is relaxed, I can't relax because I have a deadline. I have something I need to do. Do you understand? And that's very important. So vote yourself off someday island. It is the key to a great life, and without it, no lasting success is possible. I discovered that I can achieve almost any goal you can achieve almost any goal you set for yourself if you are disciplined enough to pay the price, to do what you need to do, and to never give up. Never give up. I want to give you this analogy as well. You see, when you want to develop physical muscles, all right, when you want to develop physical muscles, what do? I read a book once that a guy wanted to develop muscles and all, so he was sharing his experience. So he told his coach and said, I'm going to carry weight that is bigger than me today. No matter how I shout or how it looks like this weight is going to kill me, don't help me. And so he got there, carried it. The coach was like, this guy's going to kill himself. But I don't want that. Let me kill myself. Let me die if I have to die. But don't help me. And then does it. Now it is said that medical sciences say that when you push out of your comfort zone, you know what happens? It says when you carry things that are bigger than you and you exercise and strain yourself, what happens is in 48 hours, your muscles will rip. They'll just it will start growing little by little. The same when it comes to mental. You need to get your mind to rip. You need to get, that's why we're giving you all these books in front of you. Your mind will rip. Because you have to submit 3 chapters every day. So you will read, you'll be sleeping like this, you will still read. You put your legs in water, you still read. Because you have to submit. And be true to yourself. and tell you, I'm going to do whatever I'm told to do in this school. I'm going to do whatever. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm going to do it tired. Do it tired. But get it done and don't resist the urge. I'm warning you now. Resist the urge to make excuses because excuses are made. Instead of making excuses, tell yourself I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it done so that I won't have to make excuses. Let your mind read. Alright? So what is self-discipline? What do you think? Let me take it away. What do you think self-discipline is? What is self-discipline? Let me take it away. Okay. What is self-discipline?
The ability to do what you need to do, whether you feel like it or not.
The ability to do what you need to do, when you need to do it, whether you feel like it or not. Alright, let me hear from you.
The ability to stretch to achieve what you're supposed to achieve.
Against all odds. Fantastic. Anybody else want to try? What do you think? Self-discipline.
Self-discipline is the ability to delay gratification, immediate gratification for the purpose of achieving something.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Okay, discipline is doing as demanded and not as convenient.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. Doing as demanded and not as convenient. You want to say something? Great. You have to say something. Like I said, in this class, nobody can be wrong. Whatever you say, so let's see this place like a Montessori school. You can't be wrong. You can be right up, but you can't be wrong. So please let's express ourselves. Alright? So, self-discipline is the ability to do what you should do when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not. I like that part. Please let me write what Ethiop said. That self-discipline is doing what is demanded instead of what is convenient. So there may be 1,099 other success principles, but without self-discipline, none of them will work. However, with self-discipline, they all will work. So it's not really about the principles, it's about your ability to follow through on the principles. So this explains why self-discipline is the key to personal greatness. It's the magic quality that opens all doors for you and makes everything else possible for you. With self-discipline, the average person can rise as far and as fast as his talents and intelligence can take him. But without self-discipline, a person with every blessing of background, education, opportunity will seldom rise above mediocrity. Have you seen children of wealthy people that don't make it in life? Because they were not trained. Their mindsets. They were not trained. They didn't understand hard work because their parents gave them everything. Alright? Because their parents gave them everything. They didn't understand what hard work was. They didn't understand how to push. They didn't understand all of those things. Alright? So just as self-discipline is the key to success, lack of self-discipline is the cause of failure, frustration, underachievement, and unhappiness in life. When you see anybody that is old, any old person, including your parents, including all our parents, anybody that is old and not successful, what is the problem? They lack self-discipline. They lack self-discipline. They lack self-discipline. Plus pride. You know, pride is not the way we see. Pride is not lifting your shoulders and saying I'm better than everybody else. Pride is the fact that I'm drowning and yet I can't look for help. Pride is the fact that I can see people that are doing well and something doesn't tell me they know something I don't know. Because it takes you accepting that there are things I don't know. That's why I'm not doing well. And there are things that this person knows. Can I, put my tail behind my back and find out what this person knows? Of course, plus laziness. But there are people that work extremely hard and yet they don't make it in life. And you see, these things make us feel like life is a matter of luck. Because you say, oh, but my father is a hard-working man. You see, hard work is not like smart work. Hard work is not like smart work. And that's why I've dedicated my life to read every day. Because I need to keep my head functioning. I need to make lots of decisions. And I realized that, you see, the more you read, the more you're able to reason and think. And think in details. And, complex things become easy to you. There are people that even simple things are complex to them. Because they're everything. They're like, they give up. I can't think about it. It's complex. I can't, laziness and then inability because they've not trained their minds to solve problems and to get to the root of things, so they give up. So lack of self-discipline is the major cause of failure, frustration, underachievement, and unhappiness in life. Someone thinks, how does that work? In many ways, even in marriage. Now you know this guy is not it, and you marry him. Why? Because I love him. I love him. And because your biology clock is ticking. Do you understand? So lack of self-discipline is that thing that says, I know this guy is not good for me. But because my emotions are already tied, I'm going to go ahead with it. And then you end up being unhappy in life. So you realize that lack of self-discipline, lack of ability to tell yourself, nah, this is my vision, this is where I'm going, this is who I am. And I'm not going to condescend, I'm not going to play small, I'm not going to let go of my standards, I'm going to stay with it. Alright? So lack of self-discipline causes us to make excuses and sell ourselves short over and over and over again. Other words for self-discipline is self-mastery, self-denial, self-control, delayed gratification, like okay just said. Delayed gratification, very important. There are two great enemies of success. In fact, greatest enemies of success. Number one, you will find it in the first book you're reading, No Excuses. That's one of my favorite books in this life, in this entire life. In fact, No Excuses, I read part of it at least twice a week. I'm telling you. As in that book is it's just amazing. And because it's, the chapters are not too long, so it's like, it has like different things. So I'm able to say, okay, I want to sharpen my edge in goal setting. I just read the chapter. I want to sharpen my edge in time management. I want to sharpen my edge in personal excellence, business, finances, whatever. So it's like a lot of many, it's like a lot of books all in one. So one chapter kind of summarizes a lot of things. So I like to read it all the time. Alright, so the two greatest enemies of happiness, success, and personal fulfillment are the path of least resistance and the expediency factor. Path of least resistance says that you're always looking for the shortcut, the easiest way to get things done, whether it is good or not, like MMM. You want to make money, there's someone said, bring this out, they will double it for you, and also you put your money there. You don't know what they do or how they're doing it, and then at the end you lose your money. Alright? So that's part of least resistance. People want to do the barest minimum they can do. And African women are like, I cannot come and kill myself. I can't die. Oh, I'm tired. I want to relax. And relax in front of Telemundo. Then you now watch Telemundo 4 hours. You walk 2 hours, you watch Telemundo 4 hours. People do that. You now watch Telemundo, you listen to radio because you are working, and you say you want to keep your mind focused. You know all those excuses you give, so you put on radio, and radio is blasting nonsense into your mind. You need to understand that your greatest treasure in life is your mind. Your greatest treasure is your mind. And so you need to guard it. You can't afford junk into it, because it's what's going to produce everything you're going to see on the outside. So you need to protect your mind. I tell people, my mantra is see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. I've guarded my life around in such a way that there's zero negativity around me. One, I don't watch TV. Two, I don't listen to radio. I don't watch CNN, because it's just junk. Oh yeah. Because what's on CNN? Somebody died, bomb blast, war here. It's because good news doesn't sell. It's bad news. That's why CNN, just like Linda KG, she sells gossip. If you're selling the truth, about people. Nobody, but everyone else will know what's going on in this person's life, the bad thing. If you say, wow, this person is doing well, it's not news. But this person did crime, this person, did this person's marriage got bad. People want to know those things. And I don't have time for that. You see, your mind has two parts that are very important. And that's why I say your mind is your greatest treasure. Two parts. One is memory, one is creativity. One is memory, one is creativity. The memory part is the one that you don't have to do anything about it, it's just normal. The creativity part is the one that you have to intentionally activate it. What do I mean by that? Have you seen people that they remember everything that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago when you were in nursery school? And I don't remember, so many processes I've gone through this mind that I just don't remember. Do you remember? Do you remember? Get off it. That's in the past. We can talk about the future. There are people that like to talk about the past. They are stuck in the past. Things like you are angry at someone. So you have unforgiveness. Is that me? Yeah. So there's you carry on forgiveness on and on and on, and you do all of these things because you're stuck in the past. Some people have black hole. Everybody that has ever offended them, they have their names written down, the date they offended them, what they did, and they even write, I will never forgive this person. You don't understand that when you hold people in your mind, you are the one in prison, they are free. You are the one behind bars. You can't move forward. So you need to create such a positive atmosphere for your mind so the creativity part of your mind can kick into play. You need to create and create and create dreams, possibilities, visions, and not past. Someone says you can't move forward looking back. You're going to get into the ditch again. So you've got to forget the past, forget all of those things and move forward. Someone says the enemy of best is good, is better. Oh, I'm doing better, but you're still not the best. So it's not enough that you're doing good or you're doing better. You must pursue your full potential in life. So you need to guard your mind. So you put on TV. Some people use TV as a step down thing, just to step down. Some people use it when they wake up in the morning. I just want it, let it just be talking. Just let it be there. Let me just feel like, there's life around. No, you need to learn to be your own company. You need to learn to find creative ways. Put better things on. Be intentional about your TV. Your TV can make you rich or poor. Depends on if you put it on or if you put it off. Or what you do with it. What you do with it. So radio, crap. I'm telling you, wealthy people don't watch TV. They don't watch TV. They don't watch TV. There was a day we had the opportunity to be in a place where this man was talking. I don't remember his name now, but he's an American. He's a real estate guru. And he said he doesn't watch TV. He doesn't even have a TV. He doesn't read newspapers. He doesn't do all of those things. And I said, wow, that's right. So I'm saying we don't have time for all of those things. Why? Because your mind is too busy. Have you read all these books? Have you finished reading? You watch TV. TV is for lazy people. Because everything is there for you. They just give it to you. But you know what? But you see, when you read, you create your own vision. So you are putting images in your mind. You are creating your own reality. And that's why I advise people, get your thinking corner. Where you dream. Every other day, if not every day, create time, me time, to just sit down and look over your goals, look over your dreams, look over your visions, things you want to do, things you want to accomplish. Do you understand? Create time to internalize these things, who you want to be. Who you want to be. And that's very important. So the part of least resistance is that thing, that part that makes you do the least you can do. You don't push yourself to do extra, you don't push yourself you don't do the very least. And then the expediency factor is similar, but worse. Why? Because you see, the expediency factor, you do the least thing you can do without thinking about the future. Without thinking about what will happen if I marry this person. You know, I tell people, I say before you marry, litmus test, ask yourself, is this man, will I be proud, will I want my son to be like this man? Will I want this man to be a mentor? So that will tell, if you don't mind, that's fine. That means it qualifies. If you don't think so, then that means it doesn't qualify. Do you understand? So you think about that. You think about people that put on a lot of weight. You take coke, you take this, you take that, without thinking, what's the reward of all of this junk I'm putting into my body? What's the reward? Do you understand? There are many things, savings. You earn money, you make money, you blast everything. Because you give yourself excuses, I need to pay bills. I need to pay bills. You pay your landlord, you pay everybody, you pay your nanny, you pay everybody but yourself. So you cheat yourself. You know, I tell people, when it comes to savings, if you will save alone, I'm telling you, you can be wealthy. And I said, the first law of savings is pay yourself first, before you pay anybody. Before you pay landlord,
Sorry, I said it's paying yourself in savings.
In savings. It's not savings for rainy day. It's escrow account. Savings for the future, for your future self. That is the kind of savings that is not in your custody. The kind of savings that you can't go there, it doesn't matter if somebody dies. It's not your money. Do you understand? It's your future self. It does not belong. So you don't own that money. So that somebody died, you want to contribute money, you can clear out the account. It is not your money. It's for your future self. You understand? So you pay yourself first. You know how it is, we pay our landlord by force, by fire, we pay our landlord. We pay school fees. You pay, do you understand? And you need to discipline yourself. Now it looks like you are irresponsible, that you have bills to pay, you don't pay yourself first. But if you don't pay yourself, who will? So the same way you feel compelled to pay those bills, you must feel compelled to pay yourself. To pay your future. So you see, we take money, we spend, we buy ribbon, we buy shoes, we buy clothes, we buy all, without thinking about the future. Without thinking about the future. I tell people, if you're 40 or so, if you have been saving since the time you came out of school, you should be a millionaire by 40. If you've been saving consistently, that is every money that gets into your hands, you save a portion, a percentage of it, you should be wealthy. You should at least have, you shouldn't have money problems. So everybody has the ability to be wealthy. But the problem is lack of self-discipline. Alright? So what differentiates successful people from unsuccessful people? Alright? Long-term thinking. Long-term thinking. And I hope you understand all these things I'm saying. Because it will change your life. Long-term. That is, long-term thinking simply means our time perspective, alright, is the amount of time an individual takes into consideration when determining his present choices. When making your present choice. How much time do you put into thinking? To say, okay, if I take this step, where will it take me to? If I take this step, where will it take me to? So you can't make a long-term decision in a moment of time. At all. I like to talk about marriage. That's why I'm referring, because we're women. And it's very glaring. Because you see, the greatest problem of every woman is not money, is marriage. I'm telling you, it's marriage. It's emotional problem. And these are the things that limit us from succeeding in life. These are the things limiting us from succeeding in life. Alright? So, I love him. I see people take 4 months courtship, 6 months courtship. I'm like, death sentence. Trouble. He said, well, if I know, then what's the big deal? If I love him, there are two people can love themselves. and yet the marriage cannot work, may not work, because there are more things. Values is what makes marriage. Values is what makes marriage. So you don't make a long-term decision, in a short term, in a moment of time. Even people that do long courtship, there's still many things they still need to learn when they get married. Alright? So, so in other words, successful people are long-term thinkers. They look into the future as far as they can to determine the kind of people they want to become and the goals they want to achieve. Then they come back to the present and determine the things that they will have to do or not do to achieve their desired goals. For instance, I am planning my 2030, and I'm thinking, I already have things I want to do, who I want to be, things I want to achieve. So I'm back in my present to say, what do I need to do? Do you understand? What do I need to do to get me to where I want to go? It's in my hands. It's in your hands. What do I need to do? What do I need to engage in today, consistently, that will take me to where I want to be? And that's very important. Perhaps the most important word in long-term thinking is what? Sacrifice. Every successful person, superior people have the ability to, throughout their lives, make sacrifices in the short term, both large and small, so as to assure greater results and rewards, to be assured of greater results and rewards in the long term. If you do not make sacrifices, you cannot be great. So ask yourself, what sacrifices are you making now? Ask. If you are not making sacrifices, you cannot be great. What sacrifices are you making? What sacrifices are you? Check out any successful person. They have their stories to tell. How they made their how they had to make sacrifices to achieve the thing. Some will need, fantastic jobs to take on smaller jobs for a reason. Some will need their job, leave job completely, and start business that there's no assurance. Walt Disney worked for 5 straight years, back to back, hour by hour by hour, for 5 without earning a dime. Without earning, and yet he stayed with it, he stayed with it, he stayed with it, until they came up with the blockbuster Mickey Mouse. And Mickey Mouse exploded his finances. What if he had quit? Because sacrifice is part of those things that stretch you and break you, because it's painful. Because you have to give up something for something. To pursue your dreams, to pursue what you want, you have to let go of something. You can't take your everything into your new self. There are some things that have to go. There are some things you have to let go of. There are some things you need to sacrifice. Some relationships you need to sacrifice. Some comforts that you need to sacrifice. There are some privileges you need to sacrifice. But you can't have it all and think, you're just going to have it all and hold on to what you have. You want what is ahead. There's a price. There's a price. The willingness to sacrifice in people, you see the willingness to sacrifice in people who spend many hours and even years preparing, studying, upgrading their skills to make themselves more valuable so that they can have a better life in the future, rather than spending most of their time socializing and having fun in the present. I tell you, I don't have time for parties. I don't even like parties, whether it's wedding or anything. I don't even like parties. Except I must be there. And if I must be there, trust me, I will not stay like all day. Do you understand? For me, I feel it's just a waste of time. Because what do you do at parties? You take a Llbi, and then you sit down, and then you gossip this person, that. Then the music is that thing I can't stand. And then the music is so loud, like, excuse me, are we supposed to socialize here? The music is drink and you just leave that place with a headache. So you need to know what is really important to you. It's not every family gathering you must show up for. It's not every, especially if your family is, if you guys are socialites. It's not every, you need to know your path. Where are you going? What do you want? And then you need to know, okay, I will choose, I have to be choosy about where I go, people I hang out with, what I do, the environment around me. Why? Because I'm working on something. You see, when you're growing and going somewhere, for many years you will labor. For many years you will read all these things. You will read all these things, but it's compounding. It's compounding. That's why I said you don't stop reading after 2 months or whatever. You will continue to read because it's compounding, it's compounding, it's compounding. You're becoming a better person, becoming a better person, becoming a superior person, even though you have no result to show for it. But eventually, life is fair. Life will pay you back what you put into it. So ask yourself, what are you putting into life? What are you putting into life? Right? So your ability to think, plan, work hard in the short term and to discipline yourself to do what is right and necessary before you do what is fun and easy is the key to creating a wonderful future for yourself. Now, there will always be a difference between me and somebody else that watches television, that doesn't read. You know, we may look like we're the same now, but in a short while, I mean, I've seen a difference between me and other people, and then I'm still pressing, I'm still pushing. Why? Because, you see, life is not a competition. The only competition or the only person you're in competition with is your potential, who you can truly be. It's your responsibility to become a person of quality, to develop yourself to become a person of quality, because it will pay off. It will pay off. So hard work. So number 1 is long-term thinking. Number 2 is hard work. Successful people are hard workers. They are committed enough to work for a long time consistently without quitting. They are mentally strong and are dedicated to getting results. The common denominator of success is that successful people make a habit of doing the things that unsuccessful people don't want to do, that they don't like to do, and then they do it consistently. So find out, what are those things that people that are not successful don't like to do? What are those things that most people don't like to do? Successful people, when they do those, not because it's fun, but because it's what we have to do. Because it's what we have to do. Right? So what are these things? It turns out that the things that successful people don't like to do are the same things that failures don't like to do either. But successful people do them anyway because they know that this is the price they have to pay if they want to enjoy greater success and rewards in future. Alright? So short-term gain can cause long-term pain. These are 2 laws. There are 2 laws that people fall victim to when they fail to practice self-discipline. The first is the law of unintended consequences. Alright? Unintended consequences. Next, please. The law states that the unintended consequence of an action can be far worse than the intended consequence of that behavior because of the lack of long-term thinking. That is, I want to do this, this is what I plan, alright? Or I don't have a plan. Do you understand? You don't have a plan. You're just, one day, everything go better, it go better, everything go better. I'm just hoping and praying something good will come out of life. Usually nothing good comes out of life for such people. That's the law of unintended consequences. The second law is the law of perverse consequences that says a short-term action aimed at immediate gratification can lead to perverse or the opposite consequences from those at which it is aimed. That is, when you start taking shortcuts, instead of taking the long cut or whatever, what works, you start taking shortcuts. The result, you're trying to avoid, you want to make money, so you go for MMM. At the end of it, you put all your money in MMM and you lose the money. So you're trying to solve a problem, but you realize at the end of the day, you get the perverse result. You lose your money, the one you don't have. you now lose it. Okay? So why people succeed? Someone said that the top people are those who are more focused on activities that are goal achieving, whereas average people are more concerned with activities that are tension relieving. What are examples of tension relieving activities? What are examples? Watching television. You feel, okay, I've had a good day, I've had a hard day, whatever. Let me step down. So that's tension relieving. What else? Hanging out with friends that are going nowhere. You know there are friends that make you feel good. Do you understand? Because they don't put pressure on you. You just laugh and laugh. You feel, I've had a good laugh today, but you wasted your life. Right? What are other? Flipping through social media. Oh my God. Maybe that's even worse than television nowadays. Flipping that thing.
All your time.
You don't even know you forget.
I'm telling you, you want to sleep, you're tired, and then you just let me see what's going on in Instagram before you know 2 hours and you're not sleeping. And you have to wake up early again. Do you understand? So we need to discipline ourselves. We need to discipline ourselves. Okay? So, whatever you do repeatedly soon becomes a habit. Whatever you do repeatedly soon becomes a habit. Is it possible for you to leave your home without an underwear? It's not possible because it's a habit since you were young. But could it be possible that if you did not grow up wearing underwear, that you won't be able to wear underwear? Yeah? So that's the way it is. Whatever you do repeatedly soon becomes a habit. And a habit, once formed, is hard to break. The habit of taking the easy way, doing what is fun and enjoyable, or eating dessert before dinner becomes stronger and stronger, and it leads inevitably to personal weakness, underachievement, and failure. The question you need to ask yourself is this: do you want what is fun and easy, or do you want what works? What do you want?
What works?
So are you willing to do what works? Are you willing to stretch yourself? Are you willing to die 1,000 deaths? You know what I mean? Die 1,000 deaths. They are willing to eat many elephants, not only frogs, even the elephant. Alright? So the habit of self-discipline, you can develop the habit of self-discipline if you are willing to pay the price. The regular practice of disciplining yourself to do what you should do, when you should do it, whether you feel like it or not, alright, becomes stronger and stronger as you practice it. You must refuse to make excuses. Right? You must refuse to make excuses. So for instance, your book reviews, your book reading, you have many excuses and reasons why you shouldn't do it. I'm tired, I'm this, I'm that, I'm this, I'm that. So what are you going to do? Are you going to take the easy way out? You've had a long day, you want to just step down, just put on the TV and watch TV. But you know something is nagging in you that you've not done your book review, you've not read. You're like, do you understand? Okay, so you want to go out, so even your husband will have to pay in this season. Because he needs to understand that I need to do my growth plan. I need to accomplish this thing. Even your children will have to chill a little. This thing has got to be done. Mom is in school. Mom is in school. Right? So the more you discipline yourself to do the right things, to do what you should do when you should do it, the urge to continue to do those things becomes stronger. And they get to a point where you feel like, I've not read today, I've not read today, I've not read today. Unlike, somebody else that after school, the person has not picked up a book to read in 15 years, in 20 years, and you wonder, now think about it, where is that person possibly going to? What can that person achieve? Right? So bad habits are easy to form but hard to live with. Good habits are hard to form but easy to live with. Everything is hard before it's easy. It is hard to form the habits of self-discipline, self-mastery, self-control, but once you develop them, they become automatic and easy to practice. right? When the habits of self-discipline are firmly entrenched in your behavior, you start to feel uncomfortable when you're not behaving in a disciplined manner, just like what I said. But the best news is this: all habits are learnable. You can learn any habit you need to learn in order to become the kind of person you want to become. You can become an excellent person by practicing self-discipline whenever it is called for. One of the things you need to learn is to work for a long time. Is to discipline yourself. When I say work, I'm talking about physical work, mental work. Because you see, breakthrough thoughts lie in the recesses of our minds. That until you drill and drill and drill and drill, you will never get there. So most of the time, before we get to a breakthrough thought, we've given up. Before we get to the gusher, we've given up because we're tired. You have to learn to do it even though you're tired. Learn to work even though you're tired. Learn to push through even though you're tired. So to develop the habit of self-discipline, you first make a firm decision about how you will behave in a particular area of activity. You then refuse to allow exceptions until the habit of self-discipline is in that area is firmly established. For instance, savings. Savings is hard. A lot of people do not have the self. Most adults do not have savings. And when they have savings, they save for the rainy day. When it's time to spend it, they take it out after I put it in. So you need to develop the habit of savings. You save religiously. You tell yourself 10% or whatever I earn, if that's what you want to do. Sometimes you may need a little more, to 20%, okay, to actually become wealthy. So, but tell yourself, I don't care what is going on in my life. Every money that touches this hand, this percentage must go to an escrow account. You know, there's a couple that opened a bank account, a new bank account for this purpose. So I started talking about it. And they now made me third-party signatory. Meaning, it's only three people must sign before the money, and I will not sign. And I will not sign. I don't care what's going on. I will not sign. I cannot sign. Why? Because I owe it to you. You said until this time, 20 years. So until 20 years, I am not going to, and I'm not going to die too. So I'll be alive, but I will not sign. Understand? You know that's you need to get to that point where you hold yourself accountable. You hold yourself accountable. Accountability is the key to growth in life. Because most of the time, you cheat yourself. You can't be accountable to yourself. You cheat yourself. So what are the other areas? Exercise or eating right. What are the other areas? Maybe you have anger issues. Tell yourself, I refuse to be angry. You know, it's okay to be angry, but to show anger like a market woman. You understand? You tell yourself, no, I'm not going to do that. And then you keep holding yourself anytime. Do you understand? So you have to practice self-discipline in particular areas of your life where you know you lack it. So you need to identify what are those areas where you seem to lack self-discipline. Excuses, do you give excuses a lot? Do you give excuses a lot? You know, identify those areas and then build a system around those areas where you will practice self-discipline in those areas. Each time you slip, as you will resolve again to keep practicing self-discipline until it becomes easier for you to behave in a disciplined way than to behave in an undisciplined way. The big payoff. The payoff for developing a high level of self-discipline is extraordinary. There's a direct relationship between self-discipline and your self-esteem. Do you realize that? When you read these books, you're supposed to read. Have you started reading them?
Yes, we finished one.
Fantastic. No excuses, right? And did you hit your goals per day?
Yes,
How did you feel? Great.
but I can do anything.
Do you understand? That's the thing. You cannot feel like, wow, I did it. And I'm doing it again. And I'm I'm doing it again. You feel good, you feel superior. You feel great about yourself. You can do anything. And that's the payoff of self-discipline. When you say, I'm going to do something and you actually do it. Oh my God. You feel great. You feel great. The more you practice self-mastery and self-control, the more you like and value yourself. The more you discipline yourself, the greater is your sense of self-respect and personal pride. And it's very important everybody has self-respect and personal pride. When I have to work long hours and I do it and I feel like, yes! Done! I feel like I give myself a pat on the back. That I could have not done this, but I did it. And now I've done it, it's over. And life is, do you understand? It's in the past. Life is gone, but you know what? It's on record. Life has ticked it for me. And I'm going to reap the harvest. The more you discipline yourself, the greater your sense of self-respect and personal pride. The more you practice self-discipline, the better is your self-image. You see yourself and think about yourself in a more positive way. You feel happier and more powerful as a person, right? The development and maintenance of the habit of self-discipline are a lifelong task, an ongoing battle. It never ends. So it's something you have to keep on pushing and pushing and pushing every day. The temptation to follow the path of least resistance and the expediency factor lurk continually in the back of your mind. They are always waiting for an opportunity to show up, to lead you astray into doing what is fun, easy, unimportant, rather than what is hard, necessary, and life-enhancing. Napoleon Hill, the author of the popular bestseller, Think and Grow Rich, says self-discipline is the master key to success and wealth. Self-discipline is the master key to success and wealth. Self-discipline is the key to self-esteem, self-respect, personal pride. Alright? The development of self-discipline is your guarantee that you will eventually overcome every obstacle around you and create a wonderful life for yourself. Alright, and I think I'm going to round off soon. How many minutes do I have? 1-5. Let's say 5. Let's say 6. Alright. So the ability to practice self-discipline is the real reason why some people are more successful and happy than others. You want to be successful. You want to be happy. Like you want to be happy. You know most people are not happy. Most people are not happy. And what's the cause of happiness? I'm telling you, it's lack of discipline. Imagine you consistently not achieve your goal for reading. How will you feel for a whole week? You're going to start feeling bad about yourself. You're going to have a bad self-image of yourself. Like you can't even do this. You can't, like a failure. And it's going to affect other things you're doing. Like, Ari, you can't do anything. You're not even good enough. You know one way to overcome low self-esteem? Goal setting. That's one way to overcome low self-esteem. Begin to get a lot of winnings, to yourself, under your belt. Small things. Just give it, just small goal. And then push yourself to do it. You're going to feel good. And then make it a little bigger. And then achieve it. You're going to feel good. And then you're going to feel good. And before you know, you get to a place where you feel confident. Where your self-image, how you see yourself, is totally different. And this is so important. The same thing with kids. When you're raising kids, raise kids to be strong. Raise them to be strong. As women, we pamper our kids. We feel for them. Raise them to be strong. Raise them to understand how to work hard. So that they can have a good self-esteem about themselves. They can feel like they're superior people. They can feel good. They can feel like I can do anything. And that's very important for a child. That's very important for a child. If it's going to be, it's up to me. All right? Come on, lift up your right hand and say that. I want you to just stand up. Just stand up. If you're watching too online, just stand up. Lift up your right hand and say, if it's going to be,
If it's going to be,
it's up to me.
it's up to
I
me.
want you to say it 5 times.
If it's going to be, it's up to me. If it's going to be, it's up to me. If it's going to be, it's up to me. If it's going to be, it's up to me. If it's going to be, it's up to me.
So you know what that means? It's in your hand. Your success is in your hands. Your failure is in your hands. Look at me very well. In the next 10 years, when I see you, who will you be?